Welcome, everyone, to another broadcast of the G.L. Henderson Show on the ArtistFirst Radio Network. All past shows are podcasts. You can find them at ArtistFirst.com. And now, sitting in for G.L. this month is guest host, judge, and author Hubert L. Grimes.
Thank you, Z. We appreciate you, man. Thank you. It's good to be with you this evening, folks. We're, of course, coming in here tonight, doing our best to stand in the shoes of a man who is very, very, very challenging. We know he's the man, none other than G.L. Henderson. And so I'm grateful that he's entrusted me with this opportunity. And we're going to do our best to keep it moving tonight. Hopefully give you some good information in the process. You know, I'm going to begin my show tonight with a phrase that I heard years ago. I can attribute this phrase to a man by the name of Dr. Matt King Carter. He used to always say, never go to bed as ignorant as you were when you got up this morning. Every day you ought to learn something new. And I've got a guest with us tonight that's going to help us to make sure that we comply with his directive. We're going to leave here tonight learning something new by the end of this show. So just want to welcome each and every one of you tonight. And I want to bring on at this particular time our special guest, none other than Dr. Stephanie Paisley Henry. Very dear friend, awesome young woman. And in fact, she actually had the privilege of meeting GL earlier this year when we both were debuting some of our books that we both had written. And he was so impressed with her that he said, man, you got to bring her on. You got to bring on. And I guarantee you that before the show is over with tonight, you'll agree with us that she is indeed a dynamic young woman who is making a difference, not only in this country, but in the lives of young people. So welcome, Stephanie. We appreciate you tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I am excited and elated to be here. All right.
You know, those of you that are looking at the website for ArtistFirst, will see the little small intro, and believe me, this is a small intro in comparison to the life story of this wonderful young woman. And in fact, I say in there that she's a former college beauty queen. She's the dean of education at Bethune Cookman University, the wife of the mayor of Daytona Beach, the mother of two gifted children, both of whom regularly astonish crowds for their brilliance. So that's just a little tidbit, y'all, of what you're going to be able to hear from Dr. Stephanie tonight. And that's what I'm going to call it tonight, Dr. Stephanie, well-learned woman. So, Dr. Steph, talk to me a little bit tonight. Tell me about your work and your contributions in the field of education, since education is going to be our topic for tonight, talking about that field that is certainly something of a challenge in these days. So tell us a little bit about your work and your contributions to education.
Sure. So I am first of all, thank you for that beautiful introduction. I am the owner of Step by Step Expressions Incorporated, which is an educational consulting firm. I am the creator of 10 math party programs. That's math as in mathematics and party as in party.
All right.
Yes. The math party programs. And I am also the creator of 2 reading party programs. I have written, sang all the parts, the soprano, alto, and tenor, and produced over 200 math and reading party songs. And each song has an interactive, instructional video. My first CD stands out from all the others, and I will share later in this segment why. My programs are entitled, and I'll say the math party programs are entitled Back to the Basics, State Test Prep, Fitness Addition, Fitness Subtraction, Multiplication, Number and Operations 1, Number and Operations 2, Number Operations and Algebra, geometry, data analysis, and probability, and measurement, and that's for the math party. And then the reading party, I have letters, sounds, and words, and phonics, fitness, and fundamentals.
Wow.
Thank you. Each program encompasses CDs and DVDs, student activity books, manuals for teachers, and manuals for parents, and colorful, content-rich posters. Now, once COVID hit, I knew that it was time for me to shift. And so, because I needed to be sure that the parents would have access to something that was interactive and engaging for their children. And so I paused, and I pivoted, and I devised a plan. And as a result of that plan, my programs are now offered digitally at themathparty.com. That's www.themathparty.com. And also, as a result of the plan, I have 2 mobile applications available in the app stores. One is entitled The Math Party, and guess what the other one is entitled?
I think I might have a clue.
The Reading Party, yes.
All right. May I interrupt you for just a moment? I want to ask you this, but are these math parties and reading parties and the multiple applications that you have, are these, what age groups are these applicable to?
So they are applicable to students in kindergarten. Actually, let me stop. I'm going to say from the womb to about, I like to say middle school. And the reason why I say middle school, however, high schools order for many of their students who need extra work in mathematics or language, or to develop language skills and learn language, the vocabulary and all of that good stuff. But I started out saying K through middle because that's what I say to the schools. However, I definitely encourage people to begin as early as possible. And so, as you know, my daughter, who I haven't mentioned yet, but I'm mentioning now, she's 6 now, but when she was 5, she learned to multiply. And so I never want to, it's all about expectations and having high expectations for your children, because they can do anything. They can learn anything. They are sponges. So,
we saw Paisley perform, I won't say perform, but we saw her give a display of what you're talking about at that Fresh Book Festival. I mean, she's a tiny little thing. She's got to be, she's 3 feet, 4 feet at the most. And to see her get there and to master these mathematical problems and to get before a larger audience of people and just share it in a way that really just grabbed my attention, like, wow, if you can do that with your daughter, I mean, look at the influence that you're having traveling across the country and helping other parents and children to be able to get that head start that they need. Talk about how how that contribution, how your travels and all of that interaction with students, how that works out for you.
So it works out. I go, oh my goodness, I go everywhere. I because my programs, obviously now they're digital, but even before being digital, I've been invited to all across to states all across the country and beyond, because I've been invited to present at national conferences. And in fact, last week I was where was I last week? I was somewhere last week. I can't even think.
Yeah, I think when I talked to you last week, you were in Baltimore, I believe it was.
That's exactly where I was. That's exactly where I was at the National Head Start Association conference, presenting for them. And so I provide parent nights. I provide professional development. I provide student assemblies. I provide classroom model lessons. You name it, I provide it. And it's not only in the schools, but it's for community centers, it's for after-school programs, it's for churches, it's for homes, it's for everywhere. And I would like to step back a little bit. You talked about Paisley learning that the multiplication fact and presenting it to everyone on stage. And I just want to.
She was. Look, I can tell you, she was better than me. She was better than me. I was just like in awe.
You know, I just want to say I didn't make her learn that. In fact, I was doing a multiplication boot camp. And that day, my husband had a meeting, and my mother had a hair appointment, and her other grandmother was out of town. So I took Paisley with me, and although that boot camp was for 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, and Paisley was a kindergarten, no, she wasn't even in kindergarten. She was in VPK at the time. She's in kindergarten now. So she was in VPK at the time. She, well, in between the two, actually. It was summer camp. So she came there, and I had the iPad for her, and I was going to put her on some type of videos, and, you know, but Paisley said, oh, no, I have to have some of this. You heard those students learning. She wanted to learn it, too, and so that's actually how it happened.
Wow.
You know, kids love music. People love music.
Wow.
But I haven't really had a chance to tell you about the music and all of that. And so,
well, you know, when I first met you, if I may, when I first met you, and I'm not talking about just in recent time, and I've heard you tell this story also because when you were a student at Bethune Cookman, you got to school in a very, should we say, using another one of your gifts and talents. And I know I don't want to break you up too bad there, but you were a great musician, and you actually have done something that captures the imagination of so many people by blending your talents together and coming up with a product that's changing lives. I just think that's so phenomenal. So phenomenal. So
thank you so much. Well, you know, it all started at home.
Okay.
It started in DeLand. I'm a native of DeLand, Florida, and which is 20 miles west of Daytona Beach, Florida. And I would say first that my parents were very present in my life. However, they allowed other people to pour into me, and which I would like to encourage all parents to allow that, because some parents don't like it. You know, back in the day, if you saw somebody, if an elderly person saw you doing something that you weren't supposed to do, you know, they would get you for that. And the parents would not, right? And take you to your parents, right?
That's right. That's right.
And so, you know, but my dad, he was the verbal motivator. Always had positive things to say. Always a quitter never wins and a winner never quits and never give up. And so, and my mom, she was the demonstrator. She was like the model. And so she demonstrated what it means to have tenacity and sagacity and the audacity to never, ever give up and to have resilience in life. And so as a child, I was very active. In first grade, my teacher, Miss Whitted, who is no longer with us, but she had me to dance in a group. And so and we did like this dance for the Challenger. I was in first grade when that happened. And so she had me dancing all through my elementary school years, and she stuck with me as a mentor because she, you know, lived in my neighborhood. And then I sang in the choir in church. And I'm sure I sang the loudest, and I moved side to side the hardest. Doesn't mean I was the best singer or anything, but I was all into it. I was into it so much so. Oh, I was active, and I was into that choir singing so much so that I became like the president of the youth choir. And then there was cheerleading. There was cheerleading with Miss Elridge. And let me just say, with the choir, I want to name her name is Althea Shaver, and then cheerleading. Okay. Yes, and with cheerleading, it was Mrs. Elridge. I know everybody can name somebody, name teachers and coaches that actually push them and leaders in their community, and it's just so important for children. And so I was on the cheerleading team with Mrs. Elridge, and at a very young age, and as early as possible, she made me a coach. So and so I did that, and so I danced and I sang and I cheered, and being active just taught me so many things, just to be coachable, and it pushed me because I had people looking at me, which is very important for children. Now I don't know
what you're giving an awesome prescription for those parents out there in the audience in terms of raising children. And if it worked back, as you use the phrase back in the day, and I can tell y'all that Dr. Stephanie is a lot younger than I am, but if it worked back in what she calls back in the day, and I know that it worked back during my growing up days, why won't it? It works today, that you give kids those influences, those people who can encourage them, people who can pour into them, who can pull them through the challenges that they are encountering. And I guarantee you that if that's part of that village that we always say, it takes a village to raise a child. That's our village.
It's our village. And you know what? It's about speaking the language of the children. It's about, for me, it's teaching to the rhythm of their beat, and that's how it started in the classroom for me. I don't know if I need to go back to finish with my background before I get into that. I'll let you
go ahead. Just flow with it. We let you, because I'm excited because I want to hear about this, how you went from, to create this music model and how you're basically blending together, technology and music with learning key ingredients, math and reading, that helps to transform the lives of children. And that's what's so amazing to me, is that how you put all this together. And yet the kids love it, folks. They love the work that she does. And if you could ever get a chance to see her in action and to see the young kids, and I say young kids, I'm talking about whether it be 7-year-olds or whether it be, 13, 14, 15-year-olds, they're all engaged. She has them engaged. And in fact, you made such a powerful impact when you came up with this program that it transformed the lives in the schools that you were teaching in. So I know you, I get so excited about that I can't wait to hear you tell that story.
Okay. And so I taught in the Broward County school system for 6 years. And I loved it, absolutely loved it. Like, I am all education. It's all in me, through me. I eat, sleep, and breathe education. And so I taught 5th grade, and my students struggled. They struggled when it came to math. See, when I stepped in the classroom after learning all of the theoretical perspectives of learning at my wonderful alma mater, Bethune Cookman University,
Right. Let's go Wildcats.
Wildcats. When I stepped out of that classroom and earned my degree, I understood that students were supposed to know this at this grade level, in this age, and they're supposed to know that. So when I became the 5th grade teacher, I already knew that when I tested my students in addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, that they would get 4 A's. They're going to get straight A's, and then I would get to the 5th grade curriculum, okay? So that was my plan. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to test them in these 4 areas. So I tested them in addition, and they did pretty well, okay? They're 5th graders. And we got to subtraction, and they did okay. They just did okay. And when we got to division, my kids were lost, absolutely lost. I said, oh, boy, what am I going to do? And so I taught that lesson. I said, look, students, in order to divide, you're going to divide, then multiply, then subtract, then bring down. Sent them home with homework. They came back, gave them some problems, and guess what? Did not have it. I lamented over this because I'm looking at me. I'm the one who's teaching this now. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I stepped in the classroom again. I'm falling behind on the curriculum map, but it didn't matter to me because I needed them to understand the basics first. And so I got to the board, and I just kind of increased my energy level. Okay. I didn't let them know that I was a little disappointed. I said, look, I gave them all kinds of examples. In order to divide, you're going to divide it. Then you're going to multiply, and then you're going to subtract, and then you're going to bring down. Do you have it? And they're like, yes. So they're excited. I'm excited. Yes. Send them home with homework. They come back. I retest them. And guess what? Still didn't have it.
Still didn't have it. Wow.
Still didn't have it. I said, oh, boy, this isn't good. This isn't good. I can't move on. I didn't know what I was going to do, but when I got to class, one thing I knew was that I would teach division again. I'm going to do it again. And so I stepped into the classroom, and I'm repeating myself over and over again. Same steps. And I asked John, who was always distracting the class by beating on the desk, and I would always tell him to stop. Well, on this day, I said, John, give me a beat. Now, you know, right. the entire class, they were looking like, what?
What?
What is going on? And so I said, look, you're going to divide, multiply, subtract, bring it down. These are the 4 steps, and then you take it back around. Oh, and guess what?
What happened?
They got it. They got it.
They got it.
They got it. And so
you
from there,
you tapped into their spirit, and you tapped into something that they could appreciate, which was their musical heritage, should we say?
Absolutely. It's all about that culturally relevant pedagogy, right?
All right.
Yes, and so I said, okay, I'm going to write a preface to the song to include vocabulary that they don't normally use, and then I'm going to include detailed steps to this very song. And so, and that's what I did. And after that, I started to write songs on everything: place value, 4 angles, triangles, you name it. I wrote songs on it. And so those students, their test score soared. We went around the school. Well, actually, my principal, we were always the loud class, and my students just knew that they were it, okay? Like, we went from not knowing math to being the gifted, because then I told them they were my gifted students. And it's all about what you put into those students. You know, whatever you put into them, that's what you're going to get out. And so
you raise their expectation level.
Absolutely.
You raise their expectation level. Wow.
Absolutely. And their confidence and their self-esteem, right? Motivation to learn. So they're ready to sing and dance. And it's like disguised learning, too, because it's like, oh, well, we want to do place value. Well, okay.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay. And so my principal at the time, she wanted me, well, actually she had me, she voluntold me
Okay.
to go into the cafeteria, have my students in the front, and she brought all the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students and teachers in the cafeteria so that we could teach them the song. And that year our grade, because in Florida we received grades, they still do actually. And so for academic performance. And so my class and I taught the 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade classes the songs. And let me tell you something, that year we went from a D to an A.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
And I would also like to share that year, that summer, actually that year I asked the principal, I said, is it okay for me to become the math coach since I'm teaching all the class?
So you're teaching all the entire school math now?
Yes. So
okay.
Why not make me the math coach, right? So she did not allow me to become the math coach. However, so I decided, here's what I did. She did send me to present at something called Sharing Broward's Best, and it was best practices. And so each school had someone to present, well, maybe not every school, but some of the schools had teachers to present their best practices for other teachers. And so I shared songs and taught the songs to the teachers. When I present, I engage everyone, the teachers,
right.
parents. Yeah, we're up, we're dancing, we're singing. And so I did that year. And so principals started to reach out to my principal, who was actually a teacher at the time. And they would ask her, can Miss Paisley come to our school to work with our students? Can Miss Paisley come and train all the teachers and work with, and so she showed me the emails, but she told me, no, you're not going. And so what I did was I decided to take a leave of absence, because that summer I decided to get those songs because they were asking so much. I said, well, what am I going to have to share? So I took those songs, I found a beat maker, a producer, and I asked him for some beats. He gave me beats, and I put the lyrics to the beats, and then I took some of my students, 8 of my wonderful students, into the studio to create my very first Math Party CD.
Wow.
Yes. And I would love for you I would love to share what...
Oh, we're not going to let you get off this call tonight unless we hear a little bit of those Math Party beats. Because folks, I can tell you, they're going to have you rocking. And just the fact that you used an innovation based upon your various gifts and talents to be transformative and to change, you changed an entire, not just your classroom, but you changed an entire school. And now you're traveling the countryside and changing people, students, faculty, people all around this country. That's just, to me, phenomenal. And yet it's an example of what you just said. People who poured into you can now see you pouring into those who are after you. So I guess you're continuing to pay it forward. That's phenomenal. So are you at a point where you could actually share such a song? Because you actually, if I got this right, you didn't stay in the classroom.
I did not stay in the class. You're right. I am at a point where I can share, but I can wait. We can continue the conversation.
Okay, we'll come back. We'll come back around. We're not going to let you get off this call without hearing at least a little bit of that music that you created to help our kids to better understand some very important concepts of math and reading and the like. In fact, you didn't, like you say, you didn't stay in the classroom. You did something. You stepped out in, we say you use your spiritual values to step out on faith. And talk to us about that. What happened with this this step of faith that you took, this leap of faith that you took?
You know, it was definitely a step of faith. I was just so passionate about what I did with the students, and I still am today. And so here it is now. I stepped out of that classroom. I told my principal that I would be back in January of that year. I was just going to take half of a year just to go and work with those principals in Broward County, just a few principals, and I would return. That's what I thought, but that wasn't God's plan. That was my plan. And so here it is almost 2 decades later, 18 years later, and I am loving it. Just as much as I loved it when I stepped out. I was over at Palm Terrace Elementary yesterday. That's why I have a little hoarseness in my voice. And I just get so excited when they get excited, when I see them learning. And so I did return, I must say, I did return to that particular school, which was Broward Estates Elementary. But I didn't return as in teacher capacity. I returned as a consultant with the math party, and that same principal, she supported me so much. God bless her soul. When I tell you she purchased all of my products for every teacher in the school, every parent, I mean, including the PE teacher. If you were there, the custodians, you had math party. She was just that proud. Yes, she was that proud. And so, but I you said that I'm able to impact the nation, and I'm very excited about that and humbled about that, because now I was looking at the things for my applications, my new applications that are out, and I said, whoa, now I will be impacting the world. So, you know,
and we want to make sure we emphasize to our listeners how they can get access to your apps. So, and I want to make sure that if you could just make sure before we leave out that we also give them that information again as to what's going to help us to make sure that they're there.
Okay, and is it okay that I tell them about, or just kind of tell them what the math party actually is and the reading party?
Go for it. Yes, I'm anxious to hear it myself.
Okay. So it is, the math party is where students sing, dance, exercise, and learn simultaneously. Okay? It's a motivational, musical method of mathematics, and it's created to amplify the interest, the retention, and achievement levels of students who struggle in the subject. And also, you know, the program is also used like as an intervention for those students who, like I said, who struggle or are at risk of failing math. But it's also used as a general review for all students, okay, for all students. And research indicates that the infusion of singing and dancing and exercising with curriculum content invigorates learning and engages students while academically preparing and motivating them to excel. And so that's the math party. Now the reading party, it comes with music and phonics and fitness and other foundational skills, and it teaches phonics and foundational concepts to enhance literacy skills, okay? And so physical fitness routines are infused in this program because we haven't talked about that yet. So physical fitness routines, phonemic awareness activities, and phonological awareness activities are infused with relevant raps and rocking rhythms and riveting rhymes. Yes, and the reading party will also motivate and it'll inspire beginning readers and struggling readers to learn to adequately decode and to recognize word recognition. And so, or words, to recognize words. And so when word recognition becomes automatic, reading fluency increases and comprehension improves. And then so the reading party it's like a bridge. It serves as a bridge for early literacy, and it navigates students from learning to read to reading to learn. Okay?
Wow.
And so crossing the bridge is critical. It's critical to academic success. And so that's what the math and the reading parties are.
So you're telling our audience here that if they have a desire to want to help push their kids to greatness, that they could certainly engage these particular tools. And because of the uniquenesses of our, as we said earlier, our culture and our musical gifts, that they will be able to see a difference. If they engage it and they follow the program as you set it forth, they'll be able to see a difference in their kids' academic performance.
Absolutely. Let me tell you. You just said a word. You just said one of my words, engage. And I'm an author of 2 books, and one of them is Enrage Us or Enrage Us.
Yes. Talk about that one for a moment, then we're going to come to that other one. Because see, my friends out there in the audience, you see, we've got someone that's multi-talented. So she's already shown us how she engaged her musical ability coupled with her teaching ability and her teaching desires and experiences to create something that changes. But she's also an author. Talk about Engage Us or Enrage Us, because I've also been very impressed with that.
Well, thank you very much. I really.
I've got my copy. I've got my copy, and it's an autographed copy.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because we were at that book
at the
fair.
Festival. Yes,
at the festival together, and so Engage Us or Enrage Us. I said schools make the difference, but we all make the difference. Schools and parents, we make the difference. And I just feel, and I know that if we don't find something to engage our students instructionally, like that's going to grab them early on, then we're going to lose them. And we don't want to, and we will enrage them. We can engage them so that they will excel, or we can enrage them and they will fail. Okay? And they will show. Yes, they will. Yes, these kids, let me tell you something. When I walk in that class, they don't care about how many degrees I have or what I know. They don't care. They don't care about what I know until I show that I care. And see, I show them that I show them that I care by speaking their language. Okay? I might go in there and just want to do what we called it, the centipede.
Okay.
Just moving side to side, just kind of wiggle the body. But guess what? They were showing me about the pony yesterday and some other dances. So I'm like, show me the dances. I might not be able to do it like them, but guess what? They are completely engaged because she wants to know about what we like. And so the book, yes, and so this book is about. It was inspired by my son because he loves school. He loved school, and he loved school at a young age. He loved it so much so that he cried on the last day of school because he didn't want to leave his teacher.
Oh, man, that's different. That's very different.
Right, and then you have those other students who are crying on the first day of school because they don't want to go to school. And so it's just about looking at our students. It's in engaging them because they all need someone to look at them. And so the book It's colorful. It's not. Yeah, it's a colorful book. I don't like to call it a children's book because it's definitely for adults to read as well. The message is not only for children, but it's for teachers and it's for parents as well. So yes,
I mean, I saw your son. And how old is DJ now?
DJ's 9 now. He's 9 years old.
I first saw him perform, actually at Bethune, I believe it was, and he might have been 6. And he actually, my folks, if you ever get a chance to see her son perform, and I'm talking about he's a great public speaker. He's a motivational speaker. And she and he together have built on this topic of Engage Us or Enrage Us. And I tell you, they're one heck of a combination to have Dr. Stephanie
well, thank you.
and DJ, when you see the two of them working together to inspire young kids as well as us old folks too.
Well, thank you for that. I'm so methodical, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to talk about that. But yes, okay, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about DJ, but I want to talk about you.
I kind of jumped the conversation a little down the road further than what she was probably thinking about.
I think I want to go and talk about Bethune Cookman and then kind of go on because I need to talk about this man that I know.
Go ahead. Okay? Go ahead.
So I served as the Dean of the College of Education, as you mentioned earlier, at Bethune Cookman University. I know it's like, well, how did you do that if you were traveling? Well, I was minding my own business, literally, right? headed to Miami to present for principals there, and that's when I received the initial call. But I received a phone call from a guy, from the president at the time of Bethune Cookman University. And he said, I have a project for you. Come in to meet me. And so I said, okay, and this is my alma mater. I love my alma mater, Bethune Cookman University. Let me say this. And so I went into the meeting, and the project was, the question was, will you serve as the Dean of the College of Education, interim Dean of the College? I was floored. I still am. And I accepted. And let me just say this, that president, the interim president of Bethune Cookman University, saw me. You know, when you work hard, people see you. You might not realize it, but just put the work in and stay consistent and keep grinding. Don't stop. Don't give up, because somebody's watching, even when you don't think they are. It's good. And so you have to work even when they're not watching, when you don't see anybody, when you think nobody's watching, just keep going. So this guy, guess what his name was? The guy that saw me and looked at me, his name was Judge Hubert L. Yes, the one who is interviewing me right now, for those of you who don't know. Yes, hired me as the Dean of the College. And I just want to just say thank you and just pay homage to you for welcoming me 20 years later back into that same, that's exactly where I got the degree in elementary education, my bachelor's degree. And I was in the same building pushing these students to rise. And I just appreciate you for seeing what you saw in me to bring me back. That's a huge deal. And I will forever be indebted to you for that. So
I'll put it this way.
Put that in there.
The talent that Dr. Stephanie displays, my friends, is, we might say that even Stevie Wonder could see that. I tell you, folks, she actually took that school from a bad place in terms of the numbers of young people that were passing the state boards in teacher education. She took it from, I remember, from like 2 people at the end of their senior year had passed. In 1 year's time, she took it to 45. Following year, I don't remember what that number was, but that's talking about massive growth and restoration of the confidence in that school of education. So, no, I'm indebted to you. You did an awesome job, and of course, you got your. And I just believe that your future is even brighter. Because you're showing people how to take multiple gifts and talents they have, how to pull them together. And there may be those in the audience tonight who may not necessarily be a teacher. They may not necessarily be a writer or whatever they might be. You may think you got one talent, but when you look back over your life and you began to pull those things together and work those things, you just never know what the outcome will be.
Right.
And here we are now, not just looking at Dean Stephanie, but now entrepreneur Stephanie, who has evolved into transforming the lives of people all throughout this country. And for that, I'm very proud to be able to interview you tonight and just to see the work that you have done.
Well, I definitely appreciate it, and it was a full circle experience for me to be there at Bethune Cookman, and it was an exceptional experience because I was able, first of all, timing was just perfect because I had a 1-year-old at home. And I'm like, you know what? Timing was perfect. And let me tell you this, I don't say this publicly often, and I'm not saying it to brag. I will say that at that point, I knew that it was a great time for me to go ahead and pause and do that, because I'd earned my degree from there, became this educator, and some who have referred to me as a master educator, and I was able to travel and do all of the things that we've talked about, and at that point my college loans were paid off because of the education that I earned from Bethune Cookman University. So to be able to step back in, and I'm saying that it was paid through the programs that I created. I was able to pay all of those college loans off and other debts. So I was able to say, okay, I can pause and I can give back to my alma mater. So it was the best. It was the best experience ever. But I'm very happy to be back where I am. And I just want to now get back to my son. When you served as president, when you served as president, you allowed him to present at your president's assembly. And, oh, my goodness. Let me just say this. He presented the ABCs of Black history. And I'm going to tell you why I wrote that piece. I wrote the ABCs of Black history, which later morphed into a book, and I'll tell you how. But I wrote the ABCs of Black history because an administrator at my son's school asked if he could do something at the Black History Show. And so I decided to write something, and I did that. And so I get excited about children presenting and performing. So when Judge Grimes said yes, that he could present it at his assembly, he did that. And let me tell you what happened after that. The CEO of the National ESEA Conference, which was formerly known as the National Title I Conference, called me, emailed me, and called. I was in Hawaii at the time. Called me and said, I want you and your son to be the opening keynote speakers at my conference. And at the conference, yes. And it's because he saw that performance at the President's Assembly on my son's YouTube page, which is Master Derrick Henry Jr. And so that's when they asked that, and I found out the dates for the conference. I said, "Oh, it's time for a book. It's time for 2 books."
All right.
And when I tell you those books were written before that conference, and all those people at the conference purchased those books, it's just been amazing. Life is just amazing. It's what you make it. You just have to work. Oh, yes.
And, we didn't point out the fact that this, not only is she gifted, but this family is gifted. Dr. Stephanie is also the wife of the mayor of Daytona Beach. And it's interesting because I've known your husband, Derrick, since he was in high school, and so I'm so excited to see all of those things that you're doing. But, I want to make sure we get a chance to hear a little bit of that music, though, before we get out of here tonight. And I want to make sure, because our time is kind of winding down there. But this has been such an awesome conversation. So give us a little clip of what you put together for our kids, because, and I want, as she's getting ready to key that up, folks, I want you to think about this, that we're coming to the end of a school year academically for everybody. And so parents need to think about, what kind of things can I do with my children during the summer to make sure that they don't regress, which happens oftentimes during the summer. And I guarantee you that here's an example of something that you can see and that you can use. Take it away, Dr. Steph.
All right. And so this is actually where I took those students into the studio, and I'm going to play one of those songs. Here we go.
Okay.
To all across the nation, if you do your best, you shall pass that test. We have a nation. We have a nation. Everyone passes test. If you believe, you shall achieve. All right, now let's review. In a given day. And what about median? Middle. The center. Explain median for me. Very good. And what about range? And what about me? Very good.
All right, that's a clip for you.
All right. And tell us again how people can get access. Tell us what's your app and your website. Give us all of that key information.
Oh, okay. Is it okay that I complete your statement about?
Oh, sure,
really
absolutely.
dancing? Okay, I just wanted to say that yes, because he's a total supporter. He is the mayor of the city and the love of my life, and he's that first. And then
right.
I have a daughter as well. She's Paisley Henry, and my dad is Henry Paisley. So I was able to kind of flip that around. Yes. I just wanted to put that in because I had not mentioned her. I also have a bonus son, and his name is Michael.
All right.
He's an adult.
Right.
Yes. All right. And so I am telling you, okay, you can visit www.themathparty.com, and there you will see everything. You'll see the reading party, the books, the physical programs, the digital programs, and with the app, just go onto your phone, into your app store, and look up thereadingparty.com. The Reading Party, like I said, that's for beginning and struggling readers. And you can look that up in your app, on your mobile phone, and also the Math Party as well. You can also reach me at 888-404-MATH. That's 888-404-MATH. And my Instagram is The Math Party. LinkedIn, you should be able to find it through The Math Party, but Stephanie Paisley Henry for sure. Stephanie Paisley Henry. And I think I've covered it all, Judge. Mm-hmm.
All right. Wow, this has been a great evening to share, and I hope that those of our listeners out there will not only follow up and reach out to Dr. Stephanie at these social media platforms that she's set up for us here, and be able to go out and purchase the Math Party, purchase the Reading Party, folks, and invite her to come and to share with you in your conversations and in your conferences, the work that she's doing with helping kids. She is making a major difference around this country. She's also not only teaching kids, but teaching teachers. So that's why the phrase master teacher comes up, because she has done a phenomenal job in this area and continues to do so. So it's just been a pleasure to be with you tonight and be able to hear all of what you're doing. And I know we've got about a couple minutes here left before we wrap up for the evening. And by chance, would you have any final comments that you'd like to leave with our listeners tonight? And because I hope that I've been encouraged, I've been inspired, I've become excited all over again, just having this opportunity to converse with you tonight. So share with us some final words, if you would.
Absolutely. I would just like to say that every child needs to be looked at and yearns to be looked at. And my son does a piece, and he says, "Look at me. What do you see? Do you see a child with promise and potentiality?" He says, "Look at me. What do you see? Do you think I have the capacity to reach my destiny? Look at me. No, I really need you to look at me. Not at your cell phone, not at your iPad, but look at me." So look at your children.
Wow. That is so phenomenal. Folks, I hope that you've been encouraged tonight and that you will continue to travel that path. Like I said earlier, summer's coming, and here's a great opportunity to get some tools that can help you and your children. Keep them busy on the one hand, keep them engaged. As you said earlier, are you going to engage us, or are you going to enrage us? We've got too many young people today who are enraged, and they're enraged because they haven't been engaged. So let's make sure, folks, that we turn it around. We're the people that will make a difference in the lives of our children. And that generation will certainly continue on. I told you at the beginning of our show tonight that I quoted a quote from Dr. Matt King Carter, who's resting peacefully with the Lord now, but he always said, never go to bed as ignorant as you were when you got up this morning. Every day, you ought to learn something new. And so I close out our show tonight with that phrase, say, I trust and pray that what you have heard tonight gives you that, helps us to meet that requirement, helps us to know that we've learned something new. Thank you again, Dr. Stephanie. We certainly appreciate you, and we're excited, and we look forward to having you come back with us again as we celebrate and talk about not only the math party, but the reading party, as we engage our children, as we look at our children, knowing that if we do that, we won't have to worry about enraging them. We'll definitely make sure that they are engaged and well able to accomplish their dreams. Thank you again, and I'll say good night.
Good night.